Don Juan, in his literature, talks about these four barriers are the word enemies of the progress. First one is fear. Because of fear, we will not do many things. Because there is fear, we hold us back. When we meditate, we might be experiencing many things. When someone tells, when you come in with a problem and say, hey, have you understood that it could be your own creation? Because our thoughts create reality. So when we understand that, then it discomforts us. We cannot accept it because the personality is so strongly there, saying it's always that person who is causing this to me. How is it that I'm causing it to myself? Your parents are not responsible for your current life. We say that. But when we say they're not responsible, you are responsible for your life. We say this, then again, there is an enormous discomfort. We want to stay away from this kind of learning. But we have to cross over these fear barriers because we're exploring. We have an option to pull back anytime. When we don't like something, we have an option to pull back anytime, isn't it? Whatever that we fear most, we have to jump in, to do it once, to go through it, muster courage and say, I'm going to do this. But fear is always going to hold us back to be out of a comfort zone. Discomfort, we cannot take it out of the comfort zone. So, but we'll have to recognize this and push ourselves into doing it once. And when you do it once, because it's an experimentation, see, implementation is later. First is experimentation, then comes implementation automatically if you like it. Same thing with the experience of meditation. We have to just go through them. Sit down. There cannot be any more relaxing posture than sitting, like this with eyes closed. There cannot be anything more relaxing. And so it cannot harm. Fundamentally speaking, it cannot harm. And so anything that's happening in the body, it's got to be happening for some purpose. And then people who have walked this path are telling that it's fine. So sit down and then you go through it once. And so then you cross over that barrier of going through that experience, go to the next one, the next one. So fear is number one, which is holding us back, friends. The second thing, when we cross over this, is then as we start gaining all that wisdom, all that special knowledge, as we're getting in touch with ourselves, we gain insights. So we start gaining that confidence, and confidence will lead to slowly overconfidence. It's the half knowledge state. We call it half knowledge. We know little, but we think that's all it is, so we know everything. Can also be the spiritual ego, meaning as in the process of progressing, so we think that we know it all because we have read it enough. Ultimately the truth is same. So if you read 10 books, you sort of understand the crux of everything. And then we experience a few events where you would have gotten suddenly an insight, an intuition that worked great. So then there onwards we feel like, and I know it all, and I'm living to myself, and we stop ignoring learning at that point. The moment we are in that state of half knowledge, we stop to listen to others, to look into others. We feel we already know it, so you don't need to know anything more. We stop learning, we stop reading, stop going to classes. It doesn't work that way. We all know that what we learn today, after 6 months later, it'll appear differently. Just the way if we want to be excelling in our fields, we continuously learn. So half knowledge is the second barrier. We have to go through it, we have to recognize it. How do we go through? Become zero. You don't have any past judgments or conclusions. You're going to Himalayas to be zero this time, because then you experience something differently, something new. So half knowledge we overcome by becoming zero each time we are approaching. We ourselves stay in a state of zeroness. The third stage, then when you cross over this, dear friends, is then we are gaining powers. It's called the Siddhi State, a power state. Our words become powerful. So what you say will start happening. Either people around you are supporting you, so they may have to do it for you, or you gain truly intuition power, some energy. The more meditation, you definitely are gaining energy. So you have the ability to develop healing if you want to. Now, all of these barriers are about our learning. See, knowledge is because of experience and growth. The ultimate aim is that we are infinite potential. So we want to continue to experience more and more and more. We don't get stuck in it. We start teaching, so many people come to us. And then, of course, they are going to transform. It's a meditation. It's not an individual who is helping transform. So the third stage is the power stage, Siddhi stage, where we have to really, really recognize. One of the most difficult stages to recognize and then step out of it. Be in it, but step out to continue to increase the learning. Because there's infinity to learn, and so infinity to continue to experience. The fourth one is that it's called spiritual old age. We say, having been there, done that. Oh, I've been there, done that. I don't have to do it again. We keep saying this many times. Yes, I've been here for 40 years. I'm doing it. Yeah, please go and do it. When you're hearing this conversation in the hallway, that means they are stuck in that old age. They're not ready to learn. They're automatically close the door. Spiritual science is constantly evolving with your experience and my experience, because a lot of spiritual science is subjective. 99% unseen is got to be subjective. Only 1% seen is objective. So the spiritual science itself is constantly evolving with every subjective experience that we take and we hear, we learn. It cannot be limited to a few books. So we constantly do everything that we might have done in the past again and again, because we are meeting new people, new experiences. And so, dear friends, these are the 4 barriers of progression.